it's MK and I am here with another Kit Conspiracy layout for you guys today. Today is week 4, day 2, and I am going to do a double page layout for you guys. So I've got 3 photos that I'm going to put on a 2-page layout. I've also created a title using these thickers. One is called Navy and the other one is called Creek. The Creek one is those gorgeous green ones, and that navy, I love those navy alphas. I think I have 2 sets. Shh, don't tell anybody. So I only have a part of my title here, but this is kind of where I was going to go with my title, and then I changed my mind halfway through the video. So I am going to use this gorgeous blue piece of paper. It's got this cream color, cream green color on the other side. I don't think I'm going to map my photos with this peach color, but I will let you know whether or not I do. And then I have 2 pieces of white daisy cardstock from Close to My Heart. And also I'm going to go ahead and put all of my embellishments inside these trays. Now this one here is magnetic. It's an old Singer sewing machine tray. It's called Simplicity Vintage, and it actually is magnetic, so sewers can put their needles and things in there. But now I guess they don't use needles, they use clamps. It's weird. I don't know. I've been out of the sewing biz for quite a while. So I am going to go ahead and sort through the die cut pack, and I showed you guys that I already fussy cut the cover page for the paper pack, but I'm going to sort through the die cut pack, and then it got a little long because undoing all of those laser cuts is it's not the easiest thing in the world. So I went ahead and I fast forwarded it all, so you guys didn't have to watch me go through that. But as it went by, I was accidentally putting things that I felt like needed to be in the smaller bowl in the big bowl, and so I resorted those out. Okay, so now with all of those punched out, I have a fussy cut sheet to do, so I'm going to go and do those off camera. I'm going to go ahead and take out my my rub-ons from their packaging, because if I don't take them out, they're never going to come out. It's just one of those things. Same with the washi. They're all coming out, because if it's already out and available and looking used, I'm gonna reach for them. I'm gonna use them as long as they don't get set off to the side. All right, first thing I'm gonna do is rip around these gorgeous flowers. I actually love these watercolor messy flowers. They're just so me. And then what I'm gonna do is pick out these larger elements that look like, I don't know, ledgers and receipts and things like that from the die cut pack. I'm going to pick through those and grab a few as my photo mats instead of using, my cardstock, that peach color cardstock that I thought I was going to use. I also pulled out all of the lace pieces from the laser cut. I'm just not really sure where this is going to go, but I think I want to play with this, this floral tape this go around, just to see what mood and feel I get from using the tape. So I'm going to go ahead and put the tape on either side of my layout. So I'm going to put it here on this one side, and then of course I should have ripped it before putting it on my layout, because it does take a little bit of elbow grease to get it started and ripped, but after that it's just fine. And then I thought I was going to put this blue piece over my paper and the fabric, but you can see right through it, so I'm just going to put it right next door to the floral piece. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue down my paper piece once I get that settled on both sides. So I'm just creating the exact same design on both sides of my layout. That's all there is to it. I absolutely love how it is looking so far, but I am a little concerned because this is not me. It's not my style. It's not anything that I would have ever reached for. It's kind of scary in a way. So I'm going to go ahead and put these 2 panels that I ripped down. And right now I'm working from the outside in, but here in a few, once I get all of my washi tape down, which isn't washi, it's actually fabric tape, I'm going to tuck those behind. I do end up cutting those all off because they don't stay tucked. For some weird reason, I don't know why. They're very super sticky, but I don't know why they don't stay tucked. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with everything on the outside, and then I walk away from it because I'm starting to second guess myself, because again, this is not me. It's definitely not a layout that I would do often. So I've got 3 different washi tapes, or I should say fabric tapes going on this. And then here's where I decided I want the design to go from the inside out. And now I am just trying to figure out how I want my photos laid out and stuff, but these papers are looking a little stark white to me. So I think I'm going to do a little bit of mixed media around them. First thing I noticed was that my White Daisy cardstock is always just a hair bigger than 12 inches. No matter which way I flip it and turn it, it is always a hair, just a tiny smidge bigger. And instead of trying to make it a wonky cut and try to cut it exactly down to 12 inches, I just ink the edges. That's all I end up doing. I don't stress over the fact that it's, I got a little white showing. I ink the edges and I'm all good. I flip back over. I really like it with everything on the inside. I really, really do. So I'm going to go ahead and build my layout to see if I need to do a little bit of mixed media, because that cardstock is awfully white. Like, I mean, neon white, if that's such a thing, because I just don't do the whole neon. I'm going to cut down my photos so that way they fit into their makeshift photo mats, which are these, I don't know what you would call them. They're almost like tickets or receipt vouchers or something like that. I'm not really sure. And then there are a lot of areas where I cut out on this layout, because it's a bunch of just shifting here and there and everywhere. I do cut out where I sifted through all of my bowls to pick out the embellishments. So there's where I sifted through all the bowls. I've picked everything out. You just didn't want to see me. It was flip here. Do I like it? No. Flip here, throw it back in. Oh my gosh, left and right, all over the place. Now I am deciding what colors I want to stamp on my background. Now I don't want something that is matchy-matchy. So I'm trying to stay away from the reds and the pinks and the blues, because I've got a lot of blue on this layout already. So I went with forest moss as well as frayed burlap. So I brought in the browns and that deep dark green that is in some of the watercoloring portion of this layout. So I also picked out a couple mixed media stamps. Now I'm not using a block at all, but I took a lacy looking stamp and stamped around the distressed edge, the ripped edge of my paper. And then I'm taking this, it almost looks like honeycomb. And again, I've got it bent up over my fingers, so it's not perfectly square. And I'm just rocking it all over the place. And I stamp it once, and then I stamp it 2 or 3 times to get a lighter version of it. And then I took a blotchy piece and used my fingers as a stamp pad again, and just stamped it over and over, so I didn't get the full coverage of the image. Now this striped piece, I definitely want the full coverage, but I do end up stamping it 3 times to try and get it to so it's not so dark here and then it wasn't dark there. So I really like doing that. And now I'm taking, this is just a bunch of the alphabet on top of themselves. And so I really liked the fact that I'm adding a little bit of words, because there are a little bit of that in the print. And so I did that. And then the last thing I'm going to do to add to the stamping is just this tiny little blotch of a speck. And I just stamped it all over where I felt like I needed a little bit more green. And I'm very happy with how this looks, because now it's not so stark white. It's still white. I can still see the white, but it's not so, wow, I can see it from the moon white. Okay, so that's just how I was seeing it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put my photo down. My photo was cut down to a 4x4, and I'm going to go ahead and put it inside this frame that came in the die cut pack. Or it was one that I fussy cut. I don't remember. I've got the other 2 over there. One came from the die cut pack, and 2 I fussy cut from the packaging from the pattern paper. So I'm going to go ahead and put those on the layout. I'm just trying to find elements that will help me fill in the gaps where, because I don't want everything to just be the paper and the fabric washi is where I'm trying not to go. So I do like these 2 photos over here. So I've got, so I decided to make this a 2-page layout because, one, it's just my husband and I are at a restaurant in Wyoming. that we just stopped at. It's called Old Chicago, and it was the first restaurant post COVID that did not require you to wear a mask from the door to your seat. And in Nevada, that's where we were at the time that this was taken, is that you still had to wear a mask to get in the door, and then as you're walking around. So anytime you had to go to the bathroom, anytime you wanted to, your server walk up, you had to put your mask back on. But if you were just sitting at the table and it was just you and your party, you did not have to wear a mask. And that was everywhere in Nevada that we were. And then Reno was still fully masked. You had to wear a mask no matter where you went, except for, of course, in your own personal vehicle or outside. You did not need to wear a mask unless you're in a large crowd. And then I believe California was still masked up as well. I don't really remember going to California before this this trip here. So anyways, we found this restaurant, and we always carry our masks just in case. And we walk in, and it's a jam-packed restaurant, like it never even saw COVID. It was, all the tables were still in place. It didn't have, like our restaurant, our local restaurant actually ended up taking out tables. So there was only 5 tables out at a time. And then the bar had areas, where they were marked off. They took out bar stools so you couldn't sit next to each other, that sort of thing. I mean, they totally rearranged their floor to make it so they didn't accidentally put people in a booth that they didn't belong in, or not a booth, but at a table that was too close to the table next door, right? Well, this one here was, oh my gosh, it was like COVID never existed. It was awesome. You walked through a bunch of people, no mask required, and you wear it at your own risk type of deal. No mask required, no tables disappeared. Our table was right next door to a set of 4. And we loved it. I'm sorry. I know COVID was a big deal, you guys. I understand that. I know that. But people need to be with people. That's where I'm trying to go with this, you guys. People are sociable animals. They are very highly social animals, and they need that socializing aspect in their lives, and you take it away for so long, and it's going to happen whether you want it to or not. And so we were just thrilled that it felt normal. And so most of the sayings that I picked out were of that feeling, that gave me that feeling of normalcy, of, oh my gosh, we're going back to being normal type of deal, and stuff like that. I mean, of course, we had to leave Wyoming and get back to reality and where we were, but it was just awesome how you didn't have to do that. And our final destination in Wyoming actually was the exact same thing. You didn't have to wear a mask. Everything looked like it was all, like the restaurants didn't do the 6-foot rule and things like that. And so it was nice, after a long period, and I mean almost a year of, being antisocial. And so it was just a breath of fresh air, pardon my extent. And I hope I don't upset anybody, because COVID is a real deal. I get it. But after so long of being antisocial, this felt good. It felt right. It felt amazing, being able to do that. So I wanted to document it, and I wanted to document it on a 2-page layout, because, the first one is, just my hubby sitting at the table across from me. And I cut out a bunch of the people, but that's what the rest of the 6-inch photo was a crowded restaurant. And my husband over on, the far left of the photo, I cut that out because, well, for one, it was, awful looking. But that was the whole point of it, was the fact that I was taking a picture of a crowded restaurant, but making it look like I was taking a picture of my husband, so people didn't think I was creepy. And then once our food got there, my husband was all acting goofy, and just, he was excited. He was happy, and part of that was because he got to be social after not being social for quite a while. And so yeah, he was very, very excited and just acting goofy. And that's where I got my title from, was dinner unsupervised because we don't have our kids with us. We went to Wyoming with just the two of us. And so then I changed it because I really wanted the name of the restaurant. So it's going to actually say Dinner at Old Chicago Unsupervised. And we do get a little crazy. In fact, every time we go to the grocery store, the people that work there notice that we're unsupervised. And what we mean by that is that we don't have our children, so we can't act, we don't act like adults when our children are around, because that's how we expect them to act. So we want to act the way that we expect them to act. So yeah, it's just so weird that we seem to have a lot more childish behavior when our children aren't around, which is the exact opposite. They want to see us being all weird and goofy. So anywho, just pulling out a bunch of elements that I've already pulled out, and I'm making it look like it's we've got a bunch of receipts because we're traveling, and I just really wanted to make it look like, we visited here, we visited there, we've got postage stamps like we're writing back home, that sort of thing. I really wanted that whole travel feel, even though I'm not using a travel collection, but it does have like right home type of deal feelings. It's got the train tickets, it's got the receipts, all that stuff, and so I really like it. I also wanted to put this stamp with the couple more the peach postage stamps behind it. It says lovely, so it's going to say lovely dinner at Old Chicago on one side, and then unsupervised is going to be on the other side. I don't have an insert because I didn't take that many photos. Like I said, I'm doing 3 photos for a 2-page layout. It was a little bit too much. I definitely did not need to do a 2-page layout, but I had a blast creating this layout and making it just having a play at what I wanted to do. The last thing I'm going to add to this layout before calling it good is the Forest Moss Oxide Spray, and I'm going to just splatter it around. I love splattering my sprays. Now, with these, you guys have to make sure that you shake them up really, really well. If not, then all you're doing is splattering the oxide portion, and all the coloring is still going to be in there. So they're all going to come out the same exact color if you don't mix it up really well. If you mix it up really well, then you do get that just beautiful oxide color. This one happens to be in that gorgeous green that I felt like matched the collection really well. So here is the last of my layout. I do end up going back over and re-gluing the word unsupervised because it does not like to stick to the fabric. So I had to basically glue down my entire title once I was done because it just didn't like to stick to the fabric tape, just to let you guys know. All right, that is all that I have for you guys today. Thank you so very much. Please be sure to check out Janet Fritz's channel. She's Galaxy Girl Creations here on YouTube. She is playing along with me with Kit Conspiracy all month long. And we decided that this is the final kit that we are going to use up and try. I've got loads more photos coming your way and everything. I absolutely just had a blast with the colors from this kit. I like I said, I love the messy watercolored flowers. So anyways, thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I will check y'all later. Bye.